All right, if you're a decision maker trying to build a better, more predictable city, you know that the rulebook is, well, everything. Today we're digging into a massive system upgrade for Aotearoa cities, the new standardized commercial zones. Seriously, think of it like we're finally installing a brand new operating system for how we develop our urban spaces.
So, here's the plan. First, we'll look at the old postcode lottery problem. What a mess. Then we'll get into the new standardized system, starting small with corner shops and scaling all the way up to our big industrial powerhouses. And of course, we'll wrap up with the key takeaways for you, the people actually making the decisions.
Okay, first things first. Why did we need this upgrade so badly? Well, it all comes down to this thing called the postcode lottery. And this image, this just says it all, doesn't it? This was the failure state. The old system wasn't really a system at all. It was more like this, chaotic jumble of isolated islands of rules. The result was what some people called gray inertia. Basically, everything just got stuck. Development became unpredictable, way too expensive, and just plain inefficient.
Yeah, look at that number. Over 1,175. That's how many different sets of local rules we were dealing with. Think about that. You could literally have a different rulebook depending on which side of the street you were on. It was a recipe for confusion, creating this huge backlog of regulatory debt and, honestly, just a massive amount of uncertainty for absolutely everyone.
So how do you fix that kind of chaos? Simple. You swap it out for a clean, universal code base. And that's exactly what this system upgrade is all about.
And you can see the difference right here. We're going from that tangled mess on the left, the postcode lottery, to a super clean plug-and-play system. All those 1,175 plus zones, gone. Replaced with about 20 national standardized zones. So now, a specific zone means the same thing in Auckland as it does in Wellington or anywhere else. It's finally a universal language for development.
Now, the philosophy driving this is something called inclusive zoning. And the best way to think about it is like a set of Russian nesting dolls. Instead of walling off different activities, the higher intensity zones, say a commercial area, automatically allow everything that's permitted in the lower intensity zones below it. So a shop can exist near homes by default. It just makes sense, right? Compatible activities can finally coexist. And this is maybe the most important part. It's a huge mindset shift. We're moving away from what you could call a culture of permission. You know, the one where projects get bogged down for months in subjective hearings about how something looks. Instead, we're moving to a culture of adherence. Does your project meet the objective mathematical rules? The height limits, the floor space ratios? Yes? Great. You're good to go. It's all about speed and, most importantly, certainty.
All right, let's zoom in a bit and see how this new system works on the ground. We'll start with the smallest scale, the humble corner shop. You know, the social glue of our neighborhoods. So, under this new system, there's a specific, narrow range of low-impact businesses that are allowed as of right in residential zones. As of right is key here. It means if you want to open a small cafe, a little grocery store, or even a co-working space for the neighborhood, you just can. No big, expensive, time-consuming consent process. It's automatic.
But, and this is important, there's a catch. There has to be a safeguard, right? These businesses are strictly capped at 150 square meters. This is to make sure they stay at a neighborhood scale. They're there to serve local needs, not to become some huge destination that creates a nuisance.
So that brings up a really good question. Why the focus on corner sites? Why is the new rulebook so specific about putting these shops right there on the corner?
Well, it's because corners are the natural social hinges of a block. It's where people meet. Putting a little shop or cafe there creates a natural community hub, a third place that isn't home or work. And it's a huge boost for the 15-minute city idea. It means you can just walk to get a coffee or a bottle of milk, cutting out all those short, annoying car trips we call junk miles.
Okay, so we've covered the local corner. Let's zoom out now and look at the bigger commercial hubs, the ones that serve the whole city.
And the new system makes a really important distinction here. You've got your neighborhood commercial zone on one hand. This is all about daily needs, bakeries, services, maybe even a small, clean local factory, all woven into that 15-minute city idea. Then, on the other hand, you have the main commercial zone. This is for the big stuff, the high-intensity city centers with department stores, cinemas, and hotels. Keeping them distinct means they can both do their jobs properly without stepping on each other's toes.
All right, now we get to one of the most critical parts of this whole new operating system, protecting our country's economic engines. I'm talking about our industrial powerhouses. So, what we have is basically a three-tiered defense system.
First, there's quasi-industrial, which acts as a buffer zone. Then you've got the industrial zone, where production is king, but you can have some compatible things like housing for workers. And then you have exclusively industrial. This is the fortress. It offers total ironclad protection for heavy industry by flat-out banning any sensitive stuff nearby. No new homes, no schools, no hospitals. Period.
And this is all built on a really clever legal idea called reverse sensitivity. It's actually pretty simple. It protects the businesses that were there first. So if a port has been operating for 100 years and you decide to build an apartment block next to it, you can't then complain about the noise from the port. The port was there first. It has the right to keep doing its thing.
I love this quote because it just nails the solution. The conflict is settled by engineering, not by lawyers. Instead of wasting years and millions on legal battles, we solve the problem up front. It's called the newcomer principle. The developer who's building those new apartments next to the port, it's their job, their duty to deal with the noise. They're the ones who have to pay for the fancy soundproof windows and ventilation, so the right to complain gets replaced by a duty to mitigate. So much smarter.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. If you're a decision maker, what's the bottom line? What are the key things you need to take away from this new operating system?
So, why does this matter so much? Well, first, you get predictability. Everyone is speaking the same language now. That leads to efficiency. We're moving from slow, subjective arguments to fast, objective decisions. You also get real, legal protection for our most critical economic activities. And when you put all that together, you get certainty. And certainty is what de-risks investment and makes it possible to build for the future.
When you step back and look at the whole picture, this new system is giving our cities two crucial things. It's providing a strong skeleton, that's the infrastructure, and it's giving us reliable DNA. Those are the standardized rules. And with that strong skeleton and good DNA, we finally have the essential foundation we need to grow in a smart, balanced, and predictable way.
But look, this new framework, it isn't the finish line. Not even close. It's the beginning. It's the stable platform that we can now build upon. So the real question, the one I want to leave you with, is this. Now that we've finally installed the operating system, what amazing software are you, going to write to really bring our cities to life?